What's up, Five Knuckle fans? It's Spencer here. I know this review is a little bit different because it's not having the video portion. Well, I'm having issues with my camera, and I'm trying to get these reviews out as best that I can until I get it fixed. So I saw the movie Table 19, and to be perfectly honest, I can't say I cared too much for it. I don't know what I was expecting going into a romantic comedy like this one, because generally speaking, I don't really care much for them. But the cast sort of drew my interest. I like Craig Robinson, I like Stephen Merchant, and they had that guy from the Grand Budapest Motel in it. So I thought, hell, why not? I'll give this movie a shot. I gave it a shot. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. One good aspect of it is that the characters were fairly fleshed out. Each had their own goal / arc they were pursuing. Except for Stephen Merchant, he was just sort of around being awkward, which is fine. I like awkward Stephen Merchant. But yeah, it's sort of like a character-heavy, dialogue-heavy story about a woman going to a wedding, and the best man there happens to be her ex who ditched her, and she ends up at a table of people which is very small and aren't that real well connected with everybody. They're basically the randoms or the others of the wedding attendees of that evening. But of course, all seems well when she sees this hunkalicious guy who plays along in her shenanigans, and will romance bloom? Well, find out when you see it. And what about the other folks? Again, Craig Robinson and the other actress, I can't remember her name. They're like a feuding couple and haven't had sex in 3 years, and obviously there's a lot of tension between the two of them. The Grand Budapest Motel kid, he basically just wants to go there to get laid, and Stephen Merchant is there out of prison, just wanting to visit family, visit his uncle, who wants absolutely nothing to do with him. Yeah, Anna Kendrick. She's basically there to see if she still has feelings for her ex. And there's also the Nanny Joe, who's there because she helped raise the kids and feels some connection towards them. Where it falls flat for me is that it definitely tries heavy on the emotional aspects, and sometimes it works, but for the most part, it didn't quite. It didn't feel like there was enough of a build up to it. Like, it didn't feel like it had much weight to it half the time. It just felt like it was sort of there. I mean, on one hand, we're making it really comedic about these situations, and then on the other, we're getting all emotional about it, and just, random bombs sort of drop here and there. I guess that's a good way to describe the emotional moments in this movie, just sort of random bombs. They sort of come out of nowhere, and sometimes they hit, sometimes they do, but for the most part, they miss. They miss the target, they destroy the landscape, and take out a couple buildings instead of hitting the targets, which is actually pretty accurate to the U.S. drone strike system. What? Politics. Get those out of here. I didn't find this movie to be particularly funny. It had a few good lines here and there, but for the most part, I guess maybe the sense of humor didn't appeal to me much. Maybe I'm just too much of a cynic. It tried. It did. Like, Stephen Merchant, again, humor came from just him being an awkward person in general around everybody. And Resno Ekberg, that's the name of the guy from Grand Budapest Motel, he had a few good lines every now and again, like awkwardly trying to hit on the people, get laid and whatnot. The plot is very basic. It's just mostly these characters, these sort of social rejects of the wedding, interacting with each other and helping each other through the issues that they're facing. But again, it didn't really feel like there was much of a weight to it. It didn't feel like there was much build up. Like, you have the characters and you have their interactions, which are funny. Each character has a funny interaction with the other. That was done well, but when you go into the emotional aspect of it, there needs to be a little bit more oomph to it. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be more of an impact. It's sort of like trying to penetrate a wooden door with a pen. You can't get through that with a pen. You need a sharpened arrow. Shoot it with a bow, knock it into the door. It's inside the door. You know what I mean? It felt weak overall. The film felt weak for me. It felt very basic. There wasn't all that much to it. Overall, I would not recommend this movie. That's just for me personally. Like, some of the crowd liked it, but for the most part, like, some of the people next to me didn't even really laugh that much at this, or even react to the emotional moments, and usually the crowds I'm with are really vocal about that stuff. Sometimes to an annoying degree, but I digress. It tried, it got a decent cast together, and it had some strong writing moments here and there, but overall it failed to deliver an adequate film. And that is why I cannot recommend it. Alright, spoiler time. I guess like a few things here and there I could spoil. Yeah, that bit where the ex-boyfriend, played by Wyatt Russell, where he swims, where he's on like the boat, and they're having that emotional breakdown of, oh, I still want to take the chance with you, 'cause I'm preggers with you, baby. And sort of he's going away on the boat, and it's like, oh no, he's gonna be gone, but it's like, you could meet up with him at like any other time. Why are you doing this now over the loud boat to say this stuff to him? I understand, like, it was an emotional breakthrough for her, but like, practicality, people. And I knew like he was going to like jump off the boat and swim towards her, but I kind of liked how it was sort of they showed him leaving, and only in like the next couple of scenes when he shows up, he's like soaking wet. It's like, yeah, I swam back. I thought, okay, that's kind of funny. And the part with Jo, the maid Jo, she's dying. It's just sort of brought up really randomly. I felt like that could have been more established, really. Like, maybe one of the reasons why she goes there in the first place is because she's dying and she wants to connect with people before she passes, but doesn't have anyone. I mean, maybe that is what they were going for, but it's not how it came across to me. It was making sure she made an impact on them, to feel like the years she spent raising them made an impact, that they'd remember her, that they'd care. Stuff like that. So, you know, I guess they were really banking on that moment, which is why they named the baby after her in the end, Jo. And also, like, it's somewhat implied that Stephen Merchant would go to the wedding. You know, they all get their wedding invites, but like, he smoked pot and went back to prison. It's likely they would have done a drug test and not let him leave again after like a few months to go to freedom again. But, you know, it's just a small thing here. The movie tried. I'll give it that. It tried. It cared. It was just too weak to pull it off. It's like the bird, like those little birds in like Planet Earth that like jump out of the nest and try to flight, but every now and again, one of them is not strong enough to take flight, and it just plummets. That's this movie. It tried. It put in an effort. Wasn't good enough. Learn from your strong points. Learn from your weak points. Come back and try again and all that shit. Oh well. If you liked my little ramble, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit us up on our social media. And like I always say, because it's going to be my catchphrase, stay golden.